Get hyped, everybody! This is Chapter 22 of my Fire Emblem 6 Hard Mode 0% Girls playthrough, brought to you by Don151 and Mekkah.
Yay.
So this chapter is a bit unlike the previous ones, in one specific sense, and that is, you might recall that every chapter in this game except for the last one, is a seas map, and this one is no exception. But the game throws a wrench into the works, and that is that prior to being able to seize a throne, we have to fulfill some prerequisites. One of those is that we have to have units occupy some trigger tiles in the top left and top right hand corners of the map. And in order to do so, we have to first remove the enemy heroes that are occupying those tiles to begin with. After we do that, Roy has to wait in front of the throne room door so that the enemy boss, Zaphiel, he's the primary antagonist in this game, can open the door and we can finally get access to him and the throne.
Yeah, but before we get there, there's actually a lot of enemies standing in our way. They're all very bloodthirsty and very powerful. I think the only unit that we have that can really go toe-to-toe with these enemies is Perceval, and even he needs some help from the RNG god and our strongest weapons. The most annoying enemies in this map by far are the heroes, and then to a lesser extent the druids. We've taken some very extreme measures to go against them. We've also got some berserkers and some snipers to deal with. But we've also got some nice tools, you know. We've got the warp staff, we've got our huge assortment of boots and other stat boosters. These stat boosters, it's kind of hard to find time to use them because most of the time you want to be doing other stuff like warping, rescuing, putting stuff to sleep like Niime is doing here, or maybe attacking, seizing in Roy's case. But on turn 1, most people don't have any enemies in range, so they can just use a pair of boots or something and make sure that they're more useful in the future.
The reason why Niime wants to put that enemy sniper to sleep is because that enemy sniper has a brave bow. And we've seen how useful the brave bow is in player hands, and you can imagine that it's even more threatening in enemy hands because enemy stats are generally better. Perceval really cannot handle that enemy sniper because he ends up taking a ton of damage, and he can't counter for very much damage on his own because he would be forced to use something like a Javelin or a hand axe. Jodel also berserks his enemy druid, and we'll see why he does that on enemy phase, but mostly it's because we need the enemy druid to kind of help Perceval out in removing some of the enemies in that one group where he is.
Yeah, this chapter is going to seem like a very complicated puzzle, and not many of the moves are going to make sense until the very last turn where everything falls into place. This enemy phase in particular is very interesting. Perceval has a very daunting task ahead of him. He needs to deal with most of these enemies that are standing around him, most annoying being the heroes. First of all, they do quite a bit of damage if they hit him, even though they have weapon triangle disadvantage. This berserker has weapon triangle advantage over him, but he just dodges like a champ. He also needs to crit to actually kill them. And what's also annoying is one of the heroes over here has a light brand, and if we didn't manipulate him into attacking Perceval on enemy phases at 1 range, then he would be still standing there at the end of the turn. But the way it is, he does attack Perceval at 1 range and he's gonna get killed, so that's one problem solved. And the Berserk Druid is gonna kill that knight over there, so that is also not a hindrance to us.
Perceval's location on that enemy phase is pretty much the only place where the enemy hero with light brand will attack him from 1 range. And we just saw a few seconds ago, Fa absorbed an enemy berserk staff from the druid, and Fa has been doing this ever since several chapters ago, but essentially she's just kind of playing off in her little corner of the map, kind of being oblivious to everything going on because that's what little mannequin girls do.
I guess so. You see the start of a nice rescue chain here, and then we see Milady getting ready to do what we like to call the warp, where she opens the chest with the Dragonshield in it, not unimportant in itself, but then she puts the warp staff in the inventory so that Merlinus on the other side of the map is able to take it out. Some more interesting rescuing things going on. We see that Roy has really been taking a liking to his boots, and we see Saul use the barrier staff like Ran and all kinds of stuff. Basically, this chapter is just crazy all around. It's very hard to commentate properly, so we apologize if anything goes wrong, but that's just how it is. Here we see Merlinus moving right up to Jodel, so that Jodel can take out the warp staff and walk Douglas, who is holding Zealot, so we can warp him all the way up to make sure that they can make their way towards the other switch tile, which we need to occupy in order to open the room to the throne.
You see a lot of units doing kind of bizarre stuff on this map. Like, Igren's going to be a frontline unit on this enemy phase against Mercenary, even though she really isn't a good frontline unit. Milady is going to have somewhat of a precarious enemy phase here because of the 3 enemies that attack her. The druid in particular does a ton of damage to her, and she's also going to be left on very low HP. Douglas is going to be going mano on mano against the enemy hero over in the top left hand corner of the map. And even Zealot is going to be doing something very useful, even though he does no damage against that enemy general.
Yeah, we see once again that Fa absorbs one of those berserks, and we're going to see one of the more interesting player phases, I would say. And you can see that the corridor on the right has been cleared almost completely, so that our units can go through, because we don't have infinite warps. Ceylon gets another sleep state because our old one just broke, and Douglas shows why he's champ. He's taking 4 hits from a brave sword, and he still has like half his HP left, which is absolutely amazing for a unit that we've not boosted at all. He's basically just there. Douglas is very weak in a way. He doesn't have very much move. He has very bad speed and very bad magic defense, but his defense is good, his HP is good, and he can use the Brave Lance, and that's all we need.
Yeah, Douglas is the only unit that we have who can handle that enemy hero. Igren here, 1-round KOs his enemy druid with the silver bow, and we've been hyping about that for most of the playthrough, and this is the one time that it comes in useful, so take note of that. Jodel has to use the his special Saint Staff, which has the effect of healing every allied unit on the map up to full HP and also restoring them any status. So a moment ago, the lady was only at 2 HP, and then suddenly she was at a full 51 HP to take care of that enemy hero in the top right-hand corner of the map, and 1-round KO him with a double Brave Lance critical. Unfortunately, she is slightly not durable enough to sustain 4 enemy Brave Axe hits, so she does have to go with the riskier, less likely strategy.
Yeah, this strategy does end up killing the hero though, and that means that next turn, that spot is going to be free for Milady to occupy, and Douglas is also finishing off his job on the left by killing that hero, so in a moment we will actually be able to move Roy towards the throne, or at least in front of the door, so that Zephyr will open the throne. And we're also going to see that the Berserker right here is going to attack our newly freshly promoted Roy, and actually doubles him. So Roy is good, I guess?
Kind of. I would point out here that Roy actually does not have a very high chance of death on that specific fight, because the enemy Berserker, even if he'd hit twice, would not be able to kill Roy, actually. Because Roy gets a weapon triangle advantage from his special weapon, the Binding Blade at 2 range, but he also gets a massive +5 defense boost, and so unless he got crit by the enemy Berserker, which could possibly happen, that wouldn't have been a problem. And now Roy finally stands in front of the throne room door, and Zephyr, eager for a challenge, opens up the door for Roy. But it's not Roy who's going to be facing Zephyr, because that would be pretty much suicide. It's going to be Perceval.
Yeah, Perceval hype. For as good as Perceval is, he has a lot of trouble against this semi-final boss. He has a 50-50 chance of hitting, and then he only does 10 damage, and he has a 23% chance of critting, as you can see. Zephyr shows his very epic animation, but Perceval shows him who's boss, because he just crits twice, even though his chances are against him. And he almost finishes him off, but to finish him off, we actually have Niime come in and show off the ridiculous animation of the Apocalypse Tome.
Yeah, I'm really glad that of the mandatory animations that we had in this game, one of them gets to be used to show off this animation, because it's just amazing. I mean, like, how can Zephyr possibly survive being sucked into a black hole? It just defies common logic.
You don't need logic, you just need Niime to finish the game for you, that's what. So a lot of people use boots, and then Roy goes in for the C's.
Yep, that's chapter 22, completed in 4 turns. We will see you next time.
See ya.